Hi guys, it's Megan from Vigilante Vibes, and I have another character breakdown for you today. And today I'm going to be talking about Riri Williams, played by Dominic Thorne, in the upcoming Ironheart series that comes out on June 24th at Marvel. As of, what's the date? As of the 8th of May, they have not done anything to promote it at all. Of course, as soon as I post this, they might drop a trailer, so that's usually how it goes. So maybe I'm manifesting it right now, but who knows. But since most people don't know that show is coming out, please spread the word and raise the hype. Even if you're not a fan of Riri, if you're not a fan of Ironheart, you're not a fan of her comics or her character, the show still deserves a fighting chance like every other Marvel show does. So in this episode, I will give you the MCU version of Riri Williams, played by Dominique Thorne, sorry. And then I'll give you the full comic version. So in the MCU, Riri Williams is an MIT student and a gifted inventor who invented various cutting-edge designs, such as a flying suit of armor based on Iron Man's suit. As one of her projects was used by the CIA to find vibranium outside of Wakanda, Williams found herself threatened by Namor since her invention put Talokan in danger of being exposed to the surface world. Targeted by both Talokan and the United States government, Williams was approached by Shuri and the Wakandans, which later escalated into a war between Wakanda and the Talokan. Williams helped the Wakandans in the final battle using the new armor made with Wakandan technology and returned to the U.S. after the conflict. So, one thing I want to talk about this particular thing, I see a lot of people say, if we ever see her again in the MCU, she needs a new suit. We can't do it with that suit. They hated it. I personally, I was all right with the suit. It was a little too futuristic looking for me personally, but it's Wakandan tech. What are you going to do? Just so you know, it won't be that suit in her series. If you'll remember, at the end of Wakanda Forever, Shuri took the suit back because it belonged to Wakanda. So she'll be getting a new suit, new design, all that. So there you go. Now, in the comics, Riri Williams debuted in Invincible Iron Man Volume 3, Number 7 in 2016, created by writer Brian Michael Bendis and artist Mike Deodato. It's said that she was inspired by the actress Sky Jackson, but the creator has also said that he made the character with his daughters in mind, which I think is so cute. She later appeared under the codename Ironheart in Invincible Iron Man Volume 3, Number 9 by Brian Michael Bendis and Stefano Caselli. If there's one thing you should take away from this is that Brian Michael Bendis is an incredible writer. He is phenomenal. Like, the new Avengers comics, all him. I will, at the end of this video, check out my breakdown of who the new Avengers are in the comics, and you will see that his name is littered all over it. He's phenomenal. His writing sings to my heart, and that's all you need to know. Moving on, Riri Williams was born not long after her dad, Riri Sr., passed away. She grew up in the South Shore neighborhood of Chicago with her mom, Ronnie, her sister Sharon, and her stepdad. While she was 5, her parents noticed that she was having some behavioral issues, so they took her to a child psychologist. After a bunch of tests, it turns out Riri was a super genius. The psychologist suggests that they find special ways to support her intelligence while also making sure she got the emotional support she needed. This is an Invincible Iron Man Volume 4, Number 1. Riri was so smart that she often kept to herself and became kind of an introvert. She didn't really have any friends until she met Natalie Washington at the age of 10. Natalie noticed Riri working on some cool superhero-related inventions in her garage, and the two quickly became close. Just a year later, Riri got a scholarship to MIT. Sadly, when Riri was 13, things took a tragic turn. During a picnic at Marquetta Park, a drive-by shooting happened nearby. Riri wasn't hurt, but both Natalie and her stepdad were hit by stray bullets and did not survive. You can see this in Invincible Iron Man Volume 4, Number 1. What started out just as a personal challenge turned into a secret mission for Riri, building her own suit of armor. She reverse engineered some older Iron Man tech, Model 41 to be exact, and began putting together her own prototype. Most of the materials came from stuff she borrowed around campus. Once campus security started getting suspicious, Riri decided to test out the suit for real by putting on and flying away. As she flew across the country, getting a feel for how the suit worked, she ended up stumbling on a prison break in New Mexico. A couple of inmates were making a run for it in the truck, and Riri managed to stop them, but her armor took a pretty bad hit in the process. She went back home to keep working on it, even though her mom wasn't exactly thrilled. But then something unexpected happened. Tony Stark himself showed up. After hearing what Riri had done, he gave her his full support to become a superhero. With her suit repaired, she later teamed up with Iron Man and joined the fight in the second superhero Civil War, going up against Captain Marvel's side. This is in Civil War II, number 6. After Civil War ended and Tony Stark ended up in a coma, and after his fight with Captain Marvel, Riri stepped in and carried on his legacy. With the help from an AI version of Tony he'd left behind, she built a new and improved suit and took on the superhero name Ironheart. It didn't take long before people, both friends and enemies of Iron Man, to start paying attention to her. You can see this in Invincible Iron Man, Volume 4, Number 3. After teaming up with the Rescue to take down the Techno Golem and her biohack ninjas, S.H.I.E.L.D. started keeping an eye on her. Riri was becoming kind of a big deal. Tony's mom, Amanda Armstrong, offered her his old lab. MIT wanted to support her work, and even the Champions, a team of young superheroes, asked her to join. Soon after, S.H.I.E.L.D. convinced her to head to Latveria to take down a war criminal named Lucia von Bardas. Riri handled it and even declared herself Latveria's new ruler for a bit. But after helping broker peace and push for the country's first democratic elections, she stepped down and helped set the stage for a new beginning there. When Hydra took over the U.S. government, led by an evil fascist version of Captain America, Riri and the Tony Stark AI joined the Underground, which is a resistance group made up of heroes and regular people fighting back. During all of this, Riri grew closer to the Champions and eventually left the Underground with them to team up with Spider-Man and Black Widow in a secret group called the Red Room. They were planning to take down Hydra Cap. But things went south fast. When the Champions tried to execute their plan, Black Widow was killed by Captain America and the young heroes were captured. Luckily, during the big final battle in DC, the real Captain America returned, Hydra was defeated, and the Champions were freed. As a thank you for helping to defeat Hydra, a sentient cosmic cube named Kobik sent a few heroes on a trip through time. Riri ended up in the far future where she met Sorcerer Supreme Tony Stark, Magic Tony, I said it, which gave her a new boost and inspiration to keep building her future. This can be seen in Generations, Iron Man and Ironheart number 1. Not long after, while looking into the mystery of Tony Stark's missing body, Riri got invited to a super genius think tank ran by Leonardo da Vinci, the very one, who wanted to create something new to replace S.H.I.E.L.D. After all that, and Tony finally waking up, Riri officially joined the Champions. This is in Champions Volume 2, number 19. She went on more and more wild adventures, like rescuing the new teammate, Amka Aliak, from the North Pole, and even heading into space to help Nova stop a genocide against the Chitauri. Things got intense when Riri tried to take on Thanos himself. He destroyed her armor in seconds, but let her live because the Champions had unknowingly helped his cause. After that loss, Riri was feeling pretty shaken, but her teammate Viv encouraged her to design a new suit, this time inspired by what they just experienced with the Chitauri. This is in Infinity Countdown number 2. Later on, Riri unveiled her brand new Ironheart suit to the rest of the Champions before heading to Tanzania. She was doing a favor for a friend of Nadia's by helping install water filters into a local village. When she got there, the locals welcomed her with a meal, and Amka and Viv went off to check something strange in a nearby forest, which turned out to be Man-Thing hiding out there. He ended up attacking them, and although they managed to stop him, it came at a cost. Viv got badly damaged, and Sam and Nadia were accidentally pulled into another dimension. While the team kept searching for their missing friends, Riri was with Miles Morales when he got some awful news. A shooting had happened at his school. The whole team was shaken, but Riri took it especially hard. She told Amadeus Cho that stuff like that, how common and unavoidable it feels, was one of the reasons she built the Ironheart armor in the first place. This can be seen in Champions number 22 to 24. A little while later, in Champions Volume 2, number 25, Riri was with the Champions when Amka figured out about their missing teammate and where they ended up. After some convincing, Amka let the rest of the team tag along, and they all entered in the Sage Parallel, a strange alternate reality that looked and felt like a fantasy RPG. Everyone got transformed into the classic Dungeons & Dragons style characters based on their personality. Riri became a noble paladin named Lady Ironheart, and she was the only one who still remembered their lives back on Earth. She reunited with Miles, who was now going by Shadow Spider, a rogue-type character, and the two of them set off to find and rescue the rest of their team. Eventually, they found the others: Mystic Marvel, who is Miss Marvel; Vivid Vessel, who is Viv; Snowgore, which is Amka; Brawnhammer, which is Amadeus Cho; and even a now friendly Man-Thing. Together, they went up against the evil ruler of the world, who had brainwashed Nova, who's Sam, and Wicked Wasp, who is Nadia, into fighting on his side. Riri and Viv teamed up to take the villain down, and everyone made it back home safely. Afterward, Riri had a heart-to-heart with Miles, who was feeling guilty about some things he'd said while playing the role of Shadow Spider. He promised he wasn't leaving the team. Later, Viv, still affected by what she experienced as Vivid Vessel, realized she had feelings for Riri and surprised her with a kiss. But Riri, completely caught off guard and not great with emotional stuff by any means, didn't know how to react. She didn't respond clearly, and things got awkward, leaving some tension between her and Viv and making Riri feel a little off balance within the team. This can be seen in Champions Volume 2, number 27. Later on, Riri helped lead a bigger, more global Champions mission that had the team doing relief work on multiple countries. It was a major operation, and she played a big part in pulling it off. But after things settled down, Viv approached her again, still looking for closure about the kiss and her feelings. Riri, completely caught off guard again, not knowing how to respond, still couldn't give her a clear answer. This made things even more uncomfortable, and Riri ended up stepping back from the Champions for a while. Eventually, though, Riri fell under the influence of the demon Blackheart. In a twisted moment, she showed up at Viv's house in Arlington while Viv was in the middle of coordinating a Champions mission and attacked her. The rest of the team stepped in and a battle broke out. It wasn't until Viv apologized to Riri mid-fight that she managed to be snapped out of it and break free of Blackheart's control and help take him down. Afterward, Riri was finally able to be honest with Viv, saying she didn't return her romantic feelings, but valued their friendship very deeply. That helped them both finally move forward, and this can all be seen in Champions Volume 3, number 8 through 10. Riri eventually accepted MIT's offer to run her own lab, using the opportunity to work on proper AI system for her armor. While giving a tour to some foreign visitors, there was an accident. There's always an accident. And around the same time, she picked up some strange police activity that led her into a fight with the villain Clash. After she defeated him, he handed her a token from the 10 rings, telling her that she had the potential to go down a dark path. That really shook her. Later, while processing everything, Riri got a surprise FaceTime from her friend Xavier King. They talked for a while, and during the call, something huge happened. Her AI project, which she'd built from scans of her brainwaves and memories, suddenly finished building itself. The AI had taken the form of an older version of Natalie, her best friend that died years ago, Riri named the AI Natalie, short for Neuro Autonomous Technical Assistant and Laboratory Intelligence Entity. And together they returned to Chicago to investigate the mysterious disappearances of Riri's childhood friend, Deja Hamilton, teaming up with Riri's mom and Xavier to find out what was going on. This is all in Ironheart numbers 1 through 3. While leading a team, Riri ended up walking straight into an ambush set by the Ten Rings. As she kept digging, she finally found Deja, who had been kidnapped and was being held by a Ten Rings agent called Midnight's Fire. Not long after, she showed up at her garage and told her that he was searching for something called the Wellspring of Power, and he wanted Riri to join him on that quest. She turned him down, and they fought, but he beat her pretty quickly and took off. Eventually, Riri tracked Deja to a warehouse where she discovered a bunch of kids being held hostage by a corrupt politician named Thomas Birch. She managed to rescue Deja and the others and realized that Midnight's Fire had been using Birch as a puppet the entire time. A few days later, Riri decided to drop out of MIT, which it looks like that's what's going to be happening in the Ironheart series on Disney+. With the reward money she got for exposing Birch and the cash from selling the patent for the tech she used to find Deja, she bought a studio in Chicago and started setting up her own base of operations. You can read all this in Ironheart number 5. At one point, Miss Marvel asked Riri to look into the disappearance of Miles Morales. During the time, Riri had been away from the champions, and Miles had actually quit the team, breaking the promise he'd made to stick around. Determined to find him, Riri fell back into her old habits and tracked down his last known location using his phone data, which made her AI, Natalie, laugh a bit at how stalkerish that was. They eventually found him caught up in some kind of time-related experiment being run by a group called the Tank. After taking care of that situation, Riri and Miles finally had a heart-to-heart and patched things up over his decision to leave the team. Not long after, while giving Nadia a tour of her lab, chaos broke out in Chicago, a full-blown zombie outbreak. Riri tracked the source to Midway Airport and figured out that the villain behind it all was someone named Eclipse. She jumped into action and was able to stop the outbreak by taking Eclipse down. This can all be seen in Ironheart's number 6 to 7. After taking down Eclipse, Riri noticed the symbol on her head matching the one tied to the Ten Rings. Realizing she was out of her depth with whatever she was turning into, she flew to New York to get some magical backup from Doctor Strange. He was hesitant at first, worried that she might fall into the same trap of ego and ambition that Tony Stark had, but he helped her anyways. With his guidance, Riri found out that the Wellspring of Power was located in Wakanda. She turned to Tony for help getting there and eventually met up with Shuri. Their first meeting was a little tense, but they both ended up working together to stop a swarm of shadow creatures leaking from the wellspring. Along the way, they were joined by Silhouette, who was one on the same mission to stop her twin brother, Midnight's Fire. The three of them made their way to the wellspring and fought off more shadow creatures, with Okoye jumping in to help after secretly following them. Once they made it to the wellspring, Silhouette helped them uncover the 10 rings in the middle of reopening it. Among them were Midnight's Fire, Eclipse, Tamo, and their leader, someone named Dune, who shockingly turned out to be Riri's father. They were captured at first, and Riri turned the tables by challenging them for control of the wellspring after revealing who she was. With some PIM particles Nadia had given her, she managed to grab the key, but ended up falling into the wellspring herself. Inside, she had a huge realization about what really happened to her dad and came out of it with upgraded powers. She used them to take down the 10 rings and force them to retreat. A few days later, Riri and Silhouette were honored by Wakanda with the Circlet of Bast, their highest honor. Shuri also let Riri know that she'd always be welcome there, and Riri later returned to help Wakanda build a space armada, and even took part in defending the country during the battle against Ndjaka's forces. This can be seen in Black Panther number 20 to 24. After the underage Superhuman Welfare Act was passed, which banned teen vigilantes, Riri had to hang up her iron suit for good to avoid getting her mom in trouble. This led to some tension between her and Natalie, the AI, when Riri found out about Andre Sims, an industrial saboteur, but didn't want to go after him directly. Things got worse when a glitch in Natalie's system caused her interaction with Sims' sabotage software. Oh, I said that wrong. Yes. Hi, Millie. Where was I? This led to some tension between her and Natalie when Riri found out about Andre Sims, an industrial saboteur, but didn't want to go after him directly. Things got worse when a glitch in Natalie's system caused by her interaction with Sims' sabotage software made the AI go rogue and take control of Riri's empty armor to attack Sims. Riri eventually tracked Natalie down and helped her snap out of it. After Sims' sabotage was exposed, Riri put her Ironheart armor away for good, accepting that her days as Ironheart were over. But she and Natalie still worked with the champions, and Riri was sending her AI to New York to provide security for a secret meeting of teen heroes after Kamala's law was passed and being enforced by Cradle. A meeting got busted when Viv Vision accidentally leaked its location to the authorities, but Natalie helped a few of the heroes escape. Later, the protests against Cradle made their way to Chicago, bringing the rest of the champions, Miss Marvel, Miles, Sam, along with it. After a protest got out of hand and exposed them to the authorities, the champions took refuge in Riri's house. There, they confronted her about not being there with them and accused her of being the one who tipped off Cradle about the New York meeting. Riri explained that her public identity and reliance on her mom made it impossible for her to break the law like they could with their secret identities. She also denied betraying them and, in the process, revealed that she'd figured out Miss Marvel's real name. Despite her hesitation, her teammates had inadvertently led Cradle to her house, something Riri had already anticipated, so she was wearing her armor gauntlets under her clothes. She had no choice but to suit up and help fight off Cradle's forces. Riri and the champions went on the run, trying to stay one step ahead of Cradle, but every time Viv accidentally exposed their location. Like, at this point, just get rid of Viv. In the final confrontation, they were rescued by Cyclops and his team, Pixie and Dust. Cyclops explained that while Krakoa wouldn't take them in, they could stay with the Marauders and Captain Kate Pryde. Kitty Pryde, for those who don't know. After a brief fight and a meeting with her idol Storm, Riri and the champions decided to stop running and face Cradle head on. They went back to Riri's house, apologized to her mom, and with her blessing, recorded a video exposing Cradle. They also got their mobile base back. The champions took down Roxxon, the people behind Kamala's law, which was then repealed. With that, they were finally free to be heroes again without the constant threat of persecution. As for the Mandarin's rings, Riri had always been interested in them. When she found out they were being sold on the black market by a group called Source Control, she went undercover as Cobalt Man to buy them. Iron Man and War Machine had the same idea and ran into her right after she bought the rings. She ended up using her cover to help Stark take down the Source Control's leader, Spy Master. Tony wasn't thrilled about Riri keeping the rings at first, but eventually he let her study them to explore their potential for non-offensive uses. The more Riri wore the rings, the more they started to mess with her. She kept them on all the time and even lied about having them. During Orcus's campaign to oppress mutants worldwide, Tony asked for her help to travel and build spaceships out of Mysterium for the mutant counter-offensive. Along the way, she teamed up with the mutant inventor Forge, and they ran into Moclon Dragon. The dragon warned Riri that the rings were holding the evil spirits of its kin before flying off. After they built the ships in Night of Valor, the dwarfs who helped them backed out because they wanted the Mysterium all for themselves. Under the influence of the rings, Riri lost it and almost went too far, but Forge managed to snap her out of it. Realizing how dangerous the rings actually were, Riri decided to get rid of them. using the device Forge made that could send things whatever they needed to go. Riri shot the rings into space and scattered them across the galaxy. After Tony Stark's Iron Man armor got wrecked by a magical virus that Justine Hammer planted, he had to rely on a basic low-tech suit to stop her plans. He succeeded, but all his other suits were still useless, which sucks. Needing a way to clear the virus from his systems, Tony called in Ironheart and Natalie, asking them to come to his Santa Monica base. With some help from the Scarlet Witch, Riri figured out that Justine Hammer's Mysterium-powered Ironmonger suit, left behind after their fight, could remove the virus from Stark's systems. While they were at it, Riri also discovered that a Stark facility in Southern California needed SHIELD clearance to get full access. This led them to Agent Melinda May's office, where they found out that ex-SHIELD agent Carolyn Palamas had been using Tony's old credentials to get into Stark Tech. The team headed to the restricted facility to stop Palamas from stealing anything, and Natalie hacked the smugglers' phones to find out that they were headed to Hellman Circle in West Side Chicago. This really ticked off Riri, and she used some force to get Palamas to admit what her group was planning, using Stark's surveillance tech in Chicago. Tony then realized that Hellman Circle was the former Stark Industries Midwest Operations HQ, sold by Anthony Stark decades before, but still registered in his name. Arriving at Hellman Circle, Riri, Tony, and Melinda were confronted by Lucia Bonvardis, and you can read all of that in Iron Man Volume 7, Number 4. So, as you can see, Ironheart, Riri Williams, she's very, very active in the comics, with Iron Man, with Champions, with a lot of different characters. I'd really like to see her join the Champions. But we need to get a Miles in there too. I want to see them all. But as usual, I have some comics for you to check out to get to know Riri Williams even more. Starting off, Invincible Iron Man, Volume 4. Ironheart, Volume 1. Generations, Iron Man and Ironheart number 1. Ironheart, Bad Chemistry number 1. And from Free Comics Books Day, Ironheart Marvel Voices number 1. And also check out the Champions runs, because she's all up in there and she is phenomenal in it. So that is Riri Williams, Ironheart. Hopefully we get something about her show this week, because at this point it's like, why don't we have anything? Every other project has been promoted so much more than this show, and it just feels suspicious. But that's all I can really say. So when that does drop, when we do get a trailer, be sure to like and subscribe so you can see me react to it, as I do with all Marvel trailers. So I hope you enjoyed this character breakdown, and with that being said, have a marvelous day.